Elon Musk laid out a plan for what he thinks could be a possible peace deal between Russia and Ukraine. Today, I'm going to talk about why Ukraine hates it, why Russia is somewhat open to it, and the conversation that has sparked regarding an exit strategy. Let's be informed so we can get on with our day. It's been over 7 months since Russia invaded Ukraine, and there's still no end in sight. Both sides are resolute as ever over taking over or taking back as much Ukrainian territory as possible. And with tensions just continuing to rise, some are starting to ask the question, what is the exit strategy here? Both sides have remained consistent throughout this conflict. Russia, particularly President Putin, has been unwavering in their claims that their entry into Ukraine has been justified every step of the way and has continued to double down on its efforts, despite the unexpected pushback that they've received from the Ukrainian military. This conflict has lasted much longer than anticipated, and many reports have revealed what looks to be a flailing offensive with inferior equipment and struggling armed forces. Still, Russian authorities have recently called for partial mobilization, which means hundreds of thousands of Russian men have been called for involuntary duty. This announcement has so far caused a reported 250,000 men to flee the country to avoid the recruitment. In other words, it doesn't look like Putin is backing down anytime soon. Now, Ukraine is also holding steadfast in their mission, which is to secure all of Ukraine and even to reclaim the Crimea Peninsula, which was annexed by Russia in 2014. Considering that the Russian population is 3 times larger than Ukraine's, the question is how long can Ukraine fight back? Even though they've been turning out a strong defense all this time, some are saying that victory could just be a matter of who's able to hold out the longest, in which case Russia could have the upper hand here. Ukraine's all-or-nothing strategy especially hit a snag last week when Russia called a supposed referendum on occupied territory in the east, where, according to them, 87 to 99% of voters in the region voted to join Russia. Now, the international community has largely condemned this vote as a sham and illegitimate. Regardless, Russia is now likely to use this new so-called territory as an excuse to move in full force. All these developments apparently caught the attention of Elon Musk, who posted a tweet laying out his proposed terms for a peace deal between the two countries. His reasoning for proposing a deal is to get what he says is the likeliest outcome faster, to prevent more lives from being taken, and to prevent a nuclear war, considering Russia has nuclear weapons and is seemingly becoming desperate in its war efforts. The 4 points he laid out are 1. Redoing the referendum in the annexed regions to be under UN supervision. 2. Formally grant Russia as the owner of Crimea. 3. Assure a fresh water supply to Crimea, considering the vast majority of it comes from mainland Ukraine. And 4. He calls for Ukraine to declare itself as a neutral state, which essentially means taking a voluntary and maybe permanent stance to remain neutral in future conflicts. The supposed reason for this point is that one of Russia's main concerns is Ukraine's desire to join NATO, which would put the military alliance right on Russia's border. Taking a neutral stance would, in theory, eliminate the worry of military action from their next-door neighbor. This tweet was met with staunch disapproval from Ukraine, who, again, so far have resisted any kind of compromise. Ukrainian President Zelensky responded to the tweet, implying that Musk's terms were pro-Russia. Even the Ukrainian ambassador to Germany responded with a literal F off. President Putin, on the other hand, praised the attempt at a deal, although shut down the idea of giving up their so-called newly annexed territories. So, all of this has sparked the question, what is the end game here? There's no end in sight. Tens of thousands of lives have already been lost, billions of dollars continue to be spent, and the global community is facing food and energy shortages due to this conflict. The West has made clear alliances with the Ukrainian efforts to defend its land. But what's the line? Should there be a line? Or should they fight to the end, which could mean an underdog victory against Russia, or it could mean a wider global conflict with nuclear warfare undertones? What do you think? Should this be an all or nothing, or should concessions be made? And if so, what should they be? You've just been informed, so now it's time to get on with your day. I'm Michele Carroll. Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed the episode and want to continue following a healthier alternative for staying informed, where I forgo partisan fighting and fear driven narratives and just get to the point, then please be sure to hit that subscribe button, as of course you'll get more of this show in your feed, and also you'll be helping this new channel grow and reject sensational media. Thank you so much for your support, and I can't wait to see you in the next episode.